Before we dive into this story, please hit the subscribe button. The diamond bracelet caught the light as Jae-won Kim fastened it around his fiancée's wrist. Luxury boutique, designer shopping bags accumulating at their feet. Min Seo smiled up at him, perfect and polished in cream Chanel. The kind of woman his empire demanded. Calculated, connected, cold enough to survive his world. They were discussing wedding venues when he saw her across the atrium. His heart stopped before his brain could process why. She stood at the railing one level down, looking at her phone. Hair longer than he remembered. Same posture. Same way of tucking a strand behind her ear when she was thinking. Sarah. 5 years evaporated. He was 28 again, holding her in his Seoul apartment, promising tomorrow when they both knew there wouldn't be one. His father's assassination, the power vacuum, the choice between love and survival. He'd chosen the empire, walked away before dawn, never looked back, because looking back meant breaking. But now she was 30 feet away, and she wasn't alone. 2 children flanked her, boys, maybe 4 years old, identical, dark hair, serious expressions. One tugged at her sleeve. She bent down, her face softening in that way he remembered, that smile that used to be for him. Then the second boy turned. Jae-won's vision tunneled, the champagne flute in Min Seo's hand, her voice discussing floral arrangements, the entire glittering mall, all of it collapsed into a single impossible truth. That face. Jesus. It was his face. The same sharp jawline, same dark eyes, same serious set to the mouth even in a child. The boy was examining a store window, his expression thoughtful, analytical, exactly like Jae-won at that age, in every family photo, every childhood memory. Min Seo's hand touched his arm. Jae-won, are you listening? He couldn't answer, couldn't breathe. The second boy looked up. Same features. Twins. His twins. The world tilted. 5 years. 5 years she'd been raising his sons, and he'd never known. Sarah straightened, guiding the boys toward the escalator. She hadn't seen him yet. Her focus entirely on the children, on their sons. His feet moved without permission. Min Seo, I'll be right back. What? Where are you? He was already walking, threading through the crowd, his pulse hammering, his chest tight, security details shadowing him at a distance, because the head of the Kim family never went anywhere unprotected. But right now he wasn't the Mafia king. He wasn't untouchable. He was just a man who'd abandoned the only woman he'd ever loved, and somehow left behind 2 children. Sarah reached the escalator, started descending. Jae-won moved faster. She was getting away. Again. He couldn't let that happen. Not this time. He reached the down escalator just as she stepped off at the lower level. Sarah. His voice cut through the mall noise. Rough. Desperate. She froze. He watched her shoulders stiffen. A full beat of stillness. Then slowly, so slowly, she turned. Their eyes met. The world stopped. 5 years of silence shattered in a single look. Her face went pale, then flushed, then carefully blank. The boys looked up at her, confused. "Mommy, who is that man?" Jae-won descended the escalator, each step feeling like walking toward a cliff edge. When he reached the bottom, they stood 6 feet apart, a chasm of time and choices between them. "Sarah," he said again, softer this time. Her jaw tightened. Her hands moved to her son's shoulders. Protective, possessive. "We need to go," she said to the boys, not to him, but the smaller twin was staring at Jae-won with wide, curious eyes. "You look like me," the boy said. Sarah's grip tightened on his shoulder. She tried to guide them away, but Jae-won stepped forward, his voice low, urgent. "Sarah, please, we need to talk. There's nothing to talk about. Those are my sons." Her eyes flashed. "Dangerous. These are my sons. You made sure of that 5 years ago when you chose your empire over us." The words hit like bullets. The larger twin tugged at Sarah's hand, Mommy, what's wrong? Nothing, baby. We're leaving. Sarah, he couldn't even say her name without his voice cracking. I didn't know. You didn't want to know. There's a difference. Please. Just 5 minutes. She looked at him. Really looked. He could see the war happening behind her eyes. Pain. Anger. Something that might have been residual love, or might have been hatred. He couldn't tell anymore. The twins were watching everything, their young faces confused, sensing the tension, but not understanding it. Finally, Sarah exhaled. Boys, go sit on that bench right there, the one I can see. Don't move. But Mom, now. Her voice was gentle but absolute. They obeyed, walking to the bench 10 feet away, close enough to see, too far to hear. Sarah turned back to Jae-won, her arms crossed. Defensive. You have 3 minutes. Start talking. Before we dive deeper into this story, please hit that subscribe button and help us reach our goal. Your support keeps these stories coming. Now back to Jae-won and Sarah. How old are they? Jae-won asked, his voice barely steady. You know how old they are. Do the math. 4? 4.5. His chest constricted. When did you find out? 2 weeks after you disappeared. After you chose your father's legacy over me. Over us. He'd known there was a chance. That last night together had been desperate, reckless. The kind of goodbye that ignored consequences, because tomorrow felt impossible anyway. But knowing there was a chance and seeing the proof were different universes. Why didn't you tell me? She laughed, sharp, bitter. Tell you? I tried, I called, texted, showed up at your building. Your people turned me away, said you were unavailable, that you'd made your position clear. I didn't know about any of that. Of course you didn't. You were too busy becoming the king, too important for the woman you left behind. That's not fair. Fair. Her voice rose slightly. You want to talk about fair? I was 23, pregnant with twins, alone in a foreign country. My visa was expiring. My savings were gone. I had to beg my parents to send money for the flight home to California. And you were what? Consolidating power? Making alliances? Deciding my life wasn't worth a phone call? I thought I was protecting you. By abandoning me? By making me a single mother? She shook her head. Don't rewrite history to make yourself the hero. You chose. Own it. The truth of her words burned. He had chosen. Not out of malice. Not because he didn't love her. But because in that moment his father's blood still wet on his hands, the family fracturing, enemies circling, love felt like a luxury that would get them both killed. So he'd cut her out. Clean. Quick. Told himself it was mercy. You should have tried harder to tell me. Her eyes went cold. I shouldn't have had to. You knew there was a chance. You left anyway. What did you think would happen? That I'd just disappear? That your choices wouldn't have consequences? I was scared. Of what? That I'd trap you? That I'd use a baby to keep you? She took a step closer, her voice dropping, low and furious. I had more pride than that. I let you go. I built a life without you, and I've done just fine. The boys on the bench were getting restless. The smaller one, the one who'd said Jae-won looked like him, was swinging his legs, watching them with intense interest. They look healthy. Don't. Don't you dare stand here and evaluate them like assets. They're children. Our children. I know. Do you? Because you've spent 5 years not knowing, not caring. I cared. His voice came out raw. I've thought about you every single day. Thought about me. Her laugh was hollow. You didn't even know about them. How much could you have really cared? If I'd known. What? You would have stayed? Built a nursery between your meetings with rival families? She shook her head. You would have sent money. Set us up. Somewhere safe and controlled. Visited when convenient. That's not being a father. That's not even being human. That's just managing a liability. I would have tried. You don't get to rewrite 5 years with hypotheticals. She glanced at the boys. We need to leave. Sarah, please. What do you want from me, Jae-won? Forgiveness? Absolution? A chance to play weekend dad when your empire allows it? I want to know them. You can't. Why not? Because... Her voice cracked slightly. Because they're safe now. Happy. They have a life that doesn't include guns or danger, or looking over their shoulders. I won't let you destroy that. I would never put them in danger. You are the danger. Everything about you. Your world. Your enemies. The second you acknowledge them, the second anyone knows they're yours, they become targets. I can protect them. Like you protected your father. The words were a knife. His father had died in his arms, ambushed, betrayed, bleeding out in an alley, while Jae-won screamed for help that never came. That was different, was it? Or is that just what happens to people in your world? They die, and I won't risk my sons for your guilt, or your ego, or whatever this is. Our sons. Biologically, but you don't get to claim fatherhood. You have to earn it. Then let me. How? By showing up now? By seeing them at a mall and deciding you're interested? She shook her head. They don't even know you exist. What am I supposed to say? Oh, boys, this is your father. He's been busy running a criminal empire. That's why he missed your first steps, your first words, every birthday, every nightmare. Sorry for the confusion. I can change. People like you don't change. You are your world. Then I'll leave it. She stared at him. You can't just walk away from the Kim family. You're the head. There are protocols, rivals. You leave and what? Everything you built collapses. People die. I'll find a way. Why? Why now? What's so different about today? Because I see what I lost, and it's killing me. The rawness in his voice made her flinch. For a moment, just a moment, he saw the girl he'd fallen in love with. The one who'd laughed at his terrible jokes, who'd made him feel human when his world was blood and power, who'd held him after his father's death and whispered that he wasn't alone. Then her expression hardened again. I can't do this. Not here. Not now. The boys. She glanced at them. They're confused enough. When then? I don't know. Maybe never. Sarah. She held up a hand. You made your choice 5 years ago. I've made mine. And my choice is them. Their safety. Their happiness. Not your redemption arc. He watched her walk back to the bench. Watched her smile at the boys. Soft and warm and everything he'd thrown away. The smaller twin pointed at him. Mommy, why does that man look so sad? Because some people make bad choices, she said quietly, and they have to live with them. She took their hands, guided them toward the exit. Jae-won stood frozen, his world imploding. Again. Then the larger twin looked back. For just a second, their eyes met, and something passed between them. Recognition, maybe, or just curiosity. But it was enough. Jae-won pulled out his phone. Dialed. Trace a woman. Sarah Chen. American. 2 sons. Twins. Age 4. I need everything. Address, employment, school, medical history, everything. The response was immediate. Understood. 24 hours. No. He watched Sarah disappear into the crowd. 4 hours. I'll pay whatever it costs. When he turned back, Min-seo was standing at the top of the escalator. Arms crossed. Expression unreadable. He'd forgotten about her. About the shopping. About the wedding they were supposed to be planning. She descended slowly. Each step measured. When she reached him, she didn't speak. Just looked at him with eyes that saw everything. That was her, Min-seo said finally. Not a question. Yes. And the children. Yes. Min-seo was silent for a long moment. Then she took off the diamond bracelet he'd just bought her, placed it in his hand. I won't marry a man who's in love with someone else. I'm not. Please. Her smile was sad, almost kind. You looked at her like she was oxygen, like you'd been drowning for 5 years, and finally broke the surface. She took a step back. I deserve someone who looks at me that way, and you deserve to stop pretending you don't still love her. Min-seo. She kissed his cheek. Gentle. Final. Be happy, Jae-won. even if it destroys you. Try. Then she walked away. No drama, no scene, just gone. Leaving him alone in a mall full of strangers, holding a bracelet that cost more than most people made in a year. His entire carefully constructed life falling apart. His phone buzzed, his second in command. "Boss, we have a situation. The Choi family is moving on our eastern territory. They hit 2 of our warehouses last night. We need your authorization to respond. Not now. Sir, this is serious. Handle it, how you see fit. You have my authority. But boss, I'm unavailable." Family emergency. He hung up, stared at his phone, at the photo that had been his lock screen for 6 months. Him and Min Seo at a charity gala, both smiling, both playing their roles perfectly. He deleted it, replaced it with nothing, just a black screen. Then he walked out of the mall, into the Seoul evening, his security team scrambling to follow. He didn't go home, didn't go to his office, just drove. Through neighborhoods he hadn't seen in years, past the apartment where he and Sarah had lived, where they'd cooked terrible dinners and stayed up all night talking, where he'd held her and believed tomorrow was possible. The building looked the same, different curtains in the windows, different lives. His had been there, in that 4th floor walk-up with the broken heater and the view of nothing, and he'd thrown it away for power, for legacy, for an empire that suddenly felt like a prison. His phone buzzed again, the information he'd requested. Sarah Chen, age 28, American, citizen, current residence, Gangnam District, shared apartment with roommate, employment, freelance translator, English, Korean, Mandarin, clients primarily in tech sector, visa status, work visa, renewed annually, income, modest but stable, children, twin sons, age 4 years, 7 months, names, Min-jae and Tai-jae Chen, enrolled in private preschool, no father listed on birth certificates, medical records, healthy development, no red flags, additional notes, minimal social media presence, no apparent connection to underground activities, clean record, no debts, lives quietly, avoids attention. Min-jae and Tai-jae, his sons. He read the report 3 times, memorizing every detail. The preschool let out at 3. She worked from home, usually took the boys to the park on Thursdays, grocery shopping on Saturdays. A whole life, 5 years of routines and moments and memories, none of which included him. He sat in his car until midnight, then drove to Gangnam, found her building. A modest mid-rise, nothing fancy, nothing dangerous, safe. He didn't go in, just sat across the street, watching, like a ghost, haunting the life he could have had. At 2 a.m., his phone rang, his second. "Boss, the Choi situation is escalating. They're demanding a meeting. Terms of territory division. If we don't respond, it looks weak. Set the meeting. When? Tomorrow. Afternoon. I'll be there. Are you sure? You sound. I'm fine. Handle the preliminaries. I'll arrive for final negotiations." There was a pause. "Boss, are you okay?" "No." He hung up, stared at Sarah's building, at the dark windows. His sons were in there, sleeping, dreaming, living lives that didn't need him, but he needed them. The realization was crushing. He'd built an empire, commanded respect and fear, accumulated enough power to shape the underground of an entire city, and none of it mattered, because 2 4-year-old boys he'd never met were the only thing that felt real. He started the car, drove home. His penthouse was empty. Cold. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Seoul, his kingdom. It felt like a mausoleum. He poured whiskey, didn't drink it, just held the glass and stared at the city he'd bled to own. His phone buzzed. A message from Min Seo. "I meant what I said. Be happy. Find them. Fight for them. You deserve that. Even if you don't think you do," he typed back. "Thank you for understanding." Her response came immediately. "I didn't understand. I just recognized defeat when I saw it. You were already gone the second you saw her. Good luck. You'll need it." He set his phone down, pulled up the photos from the security footage his team had pulled. Sarah at the mall, the boys, clear shots, high resolution. Min-jae was the smaller twin, more cautious, held Sarah's hand tighter. Tae-jae was bolder, the one who'd said Jae-won looked like him, who'd stared with open curiosity instead of fear. Both had his eyes, his serious expression, Sarah's warmth, her smile. Perfect combinations of the two of them. He enlarged the photo, studied every detail. Their shoes were worn but clean, their clothes simple but well maintained. Sarah's face showed exhaustion around the edges, the kind that came from years of shouldering everything alone. She'd done this, raised 2 children, built a life, survived, without him, without his money, without his power, just her strength and determination. And he'd been what? Playing king? The thought made him sick. At dawn, he showered, dressed in his simplest suit. No power plays, no intimidation. Then he drove to the preschool address in the file, arrived at 2:30, 30 minutes before dismissal. He parked across the street, waited. At 3, the doors opened, children poured out, colourful backpacks, excited voices, parents waiting, grandparents, nannies. Then he saw them, Min-jae and Tae-jae, walking out together, holding hands. Sarah wasn't there yet. A teacher waited with them, probably until pickup arrived. Jae-won's chest tightened. They looked so small, so vulnerable. Tae-jae was talking animatedly, gesturing with his free hand. Min-jae listened, more reserved, but smiling. They were happy. Sarah appeared 2 minutes later, slightly breathless, apologizing to the teacher. Work call ran long. The boys ran to her. She caught them both, squeezed tight, asked about their day in rapid Korean. They answered in a mix of Korean and English, bilingual, of course. Sarah was brilliant with languages. Tae-jae pulled a drawing from his backpack, showed it to her with pride. She praised it. Genuine enthusiasm, not performative. She loved them, completely, the way they deserved. Jae-won sat in his car, watching this moment he had no right to, this life he'd forfeited. Sarah glanced around, checking for threats. Old habit maybe, or maybe she knew he'd come. Her eyes swept past his car, then snapped back. She went very still, said something to the boys. They nodded. She guided them toward her car, a modest sedan, nothing like the luxury he could provide. But it was hers, earned. Before she got in, she looked directly at him, her expression unreadable. Then she shook her head once. A clear message. Stay away. She drove off. He didn't follow. Just sat there as other families dispersed, as the street emptied, as his phone rang again with business that suddenly felt meaningless. That evening, his doorbell rang. Unexpected. His security hadn't announced anyone. He checked the camera. Sarah, alone. His heart stopped. He opened the door. She stood in the hallway, arms crossed, expression hard. "We need to talk," she said. He stepped aside. She entered, looked around his penthouse, at the luxury, the space, the view. "This is what you chose," she said quietly. Not a question. "Yes." She walked to the windows, stared out at the city. "I saw you at the school." "I know. I'm sorry." "Are you? Or are you just sorry you got caught?" "Both maybe." Sarah turned. Her eyes were red, like she'd been crying, but her voice was steady. "You can't do this." "Can't do what?" "Show up. Watch them. Stalk us. Whatever this is. I just wanted to see them." "Why? To torture yourself? To torture me?" She took a step closer. "They're happy, Jae-won. They don't wonder about you. They don't ask. I've built a life where your absence doesn't hurt them. And you showing up threatens that. I have a right to know my sons. You have biology. That's not the same as rights." She was fierce now, protective. "You want to be their father? Then prove it. Show me you can be something other than the Mafia king. Show me you can put them first. How? She smiled. Sad. Exhausted. That's not my job to figure out. You made the choice to leave. Now you make the choice to come back. But it has to be real. Not guilt. Not obligation. Real commitment. I'm committed. For how long? Until your empire needs you. Until it gets hard. Until someone threatens them, and you realize loving them makes them vulnerable. Her voice broke slightly. I won't put them through that. Through. Watching you choose your world over them again and again. I would never. You already did. To me. Why would they be different? Because they're my sons. And I was what? Nothing? The words hung between them. Raw. True. You were everything, he said quietly, and I destroyed it. Yes, you did. Can I fix it? I don't know. She wiped her eyes angrily. I don't know if I can trust you. I don't know if I even want to. But they deserve a father. If you can be one, a real one. I'll try. Trying isn't enough. It has to be certain. How can I be certain of anything? That's the problem. Her voice was soft now. You can't. And I can't risk them on maybe. They stood in silence, the city glowing between them. Finally, Sarah spoke. I'm going to tell them about you. His heart lurched. When? Tomorrow. I'll explain that you exist, that you're their father, that you want to meet them. But, she held up a hand, if I see any sign that this is hurting them, any confusion or fear or instability, I will cut you out. Completely. Do you understand? Permanently. Yes. And your world, your empire, your danger, it stays away from them. Always. I'll make sure of it. How? I don't know, but I will. She studied his face, searching for the lie, the inevitable betrayal. Whatever you're looking for, he said. I'm not hiding anything. I want to know them. I want to be part of their lives, even if it costs me everything else. That's what I'm afraid of. What? That you mean it. Because if you mean it, if you really try and then fail, that breaks them. And I won't let anyone break my boys, not even their father. I won't fail. You can't promise that. Maybe not, but I can promise I'll die trying. Sarah looked at him for a long moment. Then she pulled out her phone, typed something. His phone buzzed. An address. Tomorrow. 4 p.m. She texted. Bring something. Books, maybe. Tae-jae loves dinosaurs. Min-jae likes robots. And Jae-won. She met his eyes. Don't make me regret this. I won't. She left without another word. The door closing softly. Final. Jae-won stood alone in his empty penthouse. His phone buzzed. Business. Always business. He ignored it. Instead, he pulled up the photos again. Min-jae and Tae-jae, his sons. Tomorrow he'd meet them. Really meet them. And everything would change. The next day moved in slow motion. Jae-won cancelled every meeting, delegated every crisis. His second-in-command called 3 times. He answered once. I'm unavailable. For how long? As long as it takes. Boss, the organization needs you. The organization has survived 5 years. It'll survive 1 more day. He hung up, spent 2 hours in a bookstore, searching for the perfect books. Dinosaur encyclopedias, robot building guides, picture books about families. He bought too many. The clerk smiled. Someone's lucky grandkids. My sons. I'm meeting them for the first time. The clerk's smile faltered. Oh, it's complicated. Most good things are. At 3:30 he drove to the address. A park, public, safe, neutral. Ground. Sarah was already there, sitting on a bench, the boys playing on swings nearby, close enough to see, too far to hear. He parked, took several deep breaths. His hands were shaking. The head of the Kim family, the man who'd faced down rival gangs, who'd survived assassination attempts, who'd built an empire on blood, terrified of 2 4-year-old boys. He grabbed the bag of books, got out, walked slowly across the grass. Sarah saw him coming, stood. her expression unreadable. The boys were laughing, chasing each other, unaware that everything was about to change. Jae-won reached the bench. "Sarah," he said quietly. She nodded, then called to the boys. "Min-jae, Tae-jae, come here, please." They ran over, breathless, excited. Then they saw Jae-won, stopped. Tae-jae's eyes went wide. "You're the man from the mall." "Yes." "And you look like me." "Yes." "Why?" Sarah crouched down, put herself at their level. "Boys, this is someone important. Someone I should have introduced you to a long time ago." Her voice caught slightly. "This is your father." Silence. Min-jae took a step back, closer to Sarah, protective. Tae-jae just stared. "Our father?" His voice was small, confused. "Yes, baby. Where has he been?" "Working. Far away. But he wants to meet you now. If that's okay." The boys looked at each other. Some silent twin communication. Then Tae-jae stepped forward. Brave, curious. "Hi." Jae-won's throat closed. "Hi. I'm Tae-jae. I know. Mommy told you about me. She told me everything. That you like dinosaurs." Tae-jae's face lit up. "I love dinosaurs. Do you?" "I think they're fascinating. Have you seen the museum? There's a whole room of fossils." "I know. Mommy takes us sometimes." "Maybe." Jae-won's voice was rough. "Maybe I could take you sometime, if your mum says it's okay." Tae-jae looked back at Sarah. She nodded. Encouragement. Then Min-jae spoke. Quiet. Serious. "Why weren't you here before?" The question every child asked, the one Jae-won had been dreading. "Because I made a mistake." "What? Mistake?" I thought. He stopped, took a breath. "I thought staying away would keep you safe, keep all of you safe. But I was wrong." "From what?" "Dangerous things. My work is complicated." But Sarah interjected gently. "But that's not your worry. Your father wants to know you now. That's what matters." Min-jae studied Jae-won with intense dark eyes. His eyes. "Do you want to know us? More than anything? Even though we don't know you? Especially because of that? I want to learn everything." The boys exchanged another look. Then Tae-jae grinned. "Did you bring us presents?" "Tae-jae." Sarah's voice held warning. "What?" "Fathers bring presents." Jae-won couldn't help it. He laughed, rough and real. "Actually, I did." He held out the bag. The boys' eyes went huge. They looked at Sarah for permission. She sighed, but nodded. They dove into the bag, pulling out books, gasping with each new discovery. "This one has T-Rex. Look, Min-jae, robots that move. Can we read them?" Sarah smiled. Small but genuine. "Yes." "Say thank you." "Thank you." They chorused, then immediately sat on the grass, opening books, comparing discoveries. Sarah stood next to Jae-won. "That was good," she said quietly. "The books? The honesty. Kids can tell when you're lying. Min-jae especially. He's perceptive. Like you. Like both of us. Unfortunately." She almost smiled. They watched the boys read, their dark heads bent together, mirror images. "He missed so much," Jae-won said, his voice cracking, all of it. "First words, first steps, birthdays, everything. Yes, you did, but you're here now. Is that enough? I don't know yet. We'll see." They stood in silence, parents watching their children, something so normal it felt impossible. After a while, Tae-jae looked up. "Are you staying?" Jae-won looked at Sarah. She took a breath. "For today. He's staying for today. We'll see about tomorrow." "Okay." Tae-jae went back to his book. Uncomplicated acceptance. Min-jae was still watching, measuring. Jae-won sat on the grass. Close, but not too close, respecting their space. "What are you reading?" Min-jae held up the robot book. "This one. It shows how to build different kinds." "Can you build robots?" "No, but I'd like to learn." Min-jae considered this. "I could teach you. I'd like that." "Okay." Then Min-jae scooted closer, just slightly. and something in Jae-won's chest cracked open. They spent an hour in the park, reading, talking about dinosaurs and robots, and nothing important. Everything important. Sarah sat on the bench, watching, her guard never fully down. At 5 she called time. "Boys, we need to go. Dinner and homework. Oh, come on, now." They obeyed, gathering books. Tae-jae hugged Jae-won spontaneously. "Thank you for the books. You're welcome. See you tomorrow?" Tae-jae looked at Sarah, hopefully. She hesitated, then nodded. "Tomorrow, after school, same place." Both boys' faces lit up. They ran ahead to the car, leaving Jae-won and Sarah alone. "That went better than expected," she said. "They're amazing." "Yes, they are. Because of you. Us. Because of us. But mostly you. These last 5 years. That was all you." She looked away. Don't make me the hero. I did what I had to. You did more than survive. You gave them a life, love, everything they needed." She met his eyes. "They need a father too, not a bank account, not a name, a real father." "I know, then be one, because I meant what I said. One sign that this is hurting them, I won't. I know. That's why I'm giving you this chance. Don't waste it." She walked to her car. The boys waved from the back seat. Jae-won waved back, watched them drive away. Then he sat on the bench, alone. His phone had 17 missed calls. His organization probably crumbling. His enemies likely circling. His entire empire at risk. And none of it mattered. Because for 1 hour, he'd been a father. And tomorrow, he got to do it again. If you're enjoying this story, drop a comment below. Tell me what you think will happen next. And don't forget to like this video. Your engagement helps us create more stories. Now let's continue. He went home, dealt with the fires, the Choi family situation, territory disputes, financial issues. He moved through it mechanically, efficiently. But his mind was elsewhere, on 2 boys reading books in a park, on Sarah's guarded hope, on the impossible task of being 2 people. The Mafia king and the father. His second-in-command noticed. "You're different," he said during their late meeting. "How so?" "Distracted? Is everything okay?" "No. But it will be. Boss, if there's a problem, there isn't, not one you can solve." He left the office at midnight, drove past Sarah's building. The windows were dark. They were sleeping. Safe. He hired additional security without telling her. Discreet surveillance. Not to invade their privacy. To protect them. Because the second he'd acknowledged those boys, they became targets. Anyone wanting to hurt him now had 3 perfect vulnerabilities. The next afternoon, he showed up early again. With new books. And takeout from a place Sarah used to love. She raised an eyebrow when she saw him. "You're trying very hard. Is it working? The boys like you. That's something. And you?" She took the food. "Korean fried chicken. Extra spicy, you remember. Everything." Her expression softened slightly. The boys arrived running, full of energy and questions. They'd told their preschool friends about their father, about the books, about seeing him again. Their enthusiasm was uncomplicated, pure. It made Jae-won's chest ache. They ate chicken, read more books, played simple games. Tae-jae climbed into Jae-won's lap at one point. Completely natural, trusting. Min-jae stayed close to Sarah, still cautious, but asking questions about Jae-won's work, his life, his reasons. Jae-won answered honestly, age-appropriately, but honestly. "I made choices I regret," he told Min-jae. "I thought I was doing the right thing, but I was wrong, and I'm sorry. Why are you here now? Because I saw you, and I realized what I'd been missing. What if you leave again?" Min-jae's voice was small. "What if you decide we're too much trouble?" Jae-won crouched down, eye level. "I won't." "How do you know?" "Because." He touched his chest. "Right here. It hurts when I think about not seeing you, both of you, and I don't want it to hurt anymore." Min-jae studied him, then nodded. "Okay? Just like that? Okay. Children's capacity for forgiveness, for hope. It was staggering. The days became a routine. School pickup, park, books, conversation, Sarah watching, always watching, measuring his commitment, looking for cracks. On day 7, his empire demanded attention. A meeting with the Choi family, critical, unavoidable. He called Sarah. "I have to cancel today," he said. "There's a meeting I can't avoid." Silence. Then her voice, cold. "I see. Sarah, it's not what you think, isn't it? Your empire calling you back?" "No. Yes. But I'm not choosing it over them. I'll be there tomorrow." "Will you?" Her voice cracked slightly. "Or is this the beginning of you fading out, making excuses until you're just gone again? I swear I'll be there tomorrow. You swore a lot of things 5 years ago too." The line went dead. He stared at his phone, then at the meeting notes. The Choi situation was critical. Territory, power, money. Everything his father had taught him mattered. But Sarah's voice echoed. "Your empire calling you back." He made a decision. Called his second. The meeting with the Choi family. Reschedule. "Boss, we can't. They'll see it as weakness. Then let them. This meeting determines the Eastern Territory." "I don't care." "You don't." His second's voice was bewildered. "What's more important than this?" "My sons." There was a long pause. "I'll handle it," his second said finally. "But boss, this is going to cost us. Everything costs something. This is what I'm choosing to pay." He hung up, drove to the park. Sarah was there, sitting on the bench, the boys playing. She saw him. Her expression flickered. Surprise. Relief. Suspicion. "You came. I said I would. The meeting. I sent someone else. But there's always going to be a but, Sarah. Always going to be something demanding my attention. Some crisis. Some emergency. But I'm choosing this. Them. You. Every time." She stared at him. "You really sent someone else?" "Yes. That meeting could have cost you territory. It did cost me territory. My second texted 10 minutes ago. We lost the Eastern District. And you're here anyway." "Yes." "Why?" He sat beside her. "Because Min-jae asked me what if I leave again, and I realized he's right to be scared, because I did it before. So I'm showing him, showing you, that this time is different. You lost territory for one afternoon? I lost territory to prove a point, that they matter more." She was quiet for a long moment. "That was stupid. Probably. Your rivals will sense weakness. I know. You could have just called, explained. Words are easy. Actions matter." Sarah's eyes filled. "Don't do this." "Do what?" "Make me believe you. Make me hope. Because I can't survive you leaving again. I'm not going to leave. You can't promise that." "You're right. But I can promise that if I do, it won't be because I chose my empire. It'll be because I'm dead. That's not comforting. It's honest." They sat in silence, watching the boys chase each other, laughing, innocent. Finally, Sarah spoke. "They asked if you could come to dinner, at our apartment." Her voice was careful. "If you're not ready, I'm ready. Tomorrow? Tonight. If you want." He wanted to say yes immediately, but he forced himself to pause. "Is that what you want?" "I don't know what I want." Her voice was raw. "I spent 5 years hating you, building walls, protecting myself and them from ever being hurt by you again. And now you're here, being everything I needed you to be 5 years ago, and I don't know how to handle it. I'm sorry. Stop apologizing. Start proving." "Okay." She stood. "Dinner's at 6. Nothing fancy, just us. I'll be there. Bring wine. The boys don't drink wine, obviously. But I might need it." He almost smiled. "What kind? Red? Expensive?" She paused. "Actually, no. That cheap brand we used to get. From the corner store near our old apartment. You remember that? Everything." Her expression cracked slightly. Then she called the boys. "Time to go. They ran over. Is he coming to dinner? Tae-jae asked hopefully. Yes. Both boys cheered. Min-jae took Jae-won's hand, spontaneous, trusting. You'll really come? I promise. Okay. They left. Jae-won sat alone for a moment, then drove to find that specific wine. It took 3 stores. The brand was cheap, not carried everywhere, but he found it eventually, bought 2 bottles, then flowers, then stopped himself. Too much, too fast. He showed up at 5:55, knocked. Sarah opened the door. Jeans, t-shirt, hair in a messy bun, no makeup, exactly like he remembered. Beautiful. He held out the wine. She took it, smiled slightly. You found it. I told you. I remember everything. Come in. The apartment was small, cozy, children's drawings on the fridge, toys in bins, books everywhere, a life, full and warm and nothing like his cold penthouse. The boys tackled him immediately, talking over each other, showing him their room, their toys, their world. Sarah cooked, simple pasta, garlic bread, nothing fancy. But the smell filled the apartment with warmth. They ate at a small table, barely big enough for 4. Knees bumping, plates crowded, perfect. The boys talked non-stop. About school, friends, a field trip coming up to the aquarium. Jae-won listened, asked questions, learned. Min-jae was cautious around new people, had 2 close friends, loved math. Tae-jae was social, everyone's friend, loved art. Both were smart, funny, kind. After dinner, Sarah put on a movie. The boys sandwiched Jae-won on the couch, 1 on each side. Halfway through, Tae-jae fell asleep against his shoulder, Min-jae against his other side. Sarah watched from the chair, her expression unreadable. When the movie ended, she carried Tae-jae to bed. Jae-won carried Min-jae. The boy stirred, mumbled, Dad? Jae-won's heart stopped. I'm here. Okay. Min-jae went back to sleep. They tucked the boys in. Sarah kissed their foreheads, whispered good night. They returned to the living room. Sarah poured wine. They sat on opposite ends of the couch. They called you Dad, she said softly. I know. How does that feel? Terrifying. She almost smiled. Good. It should be. They sat in comfortable silence, the apartment quiet except for the hum of the refrigerator. City sounds outside. This is nice, Jae-won said. What is? This. Normal. Family. It's not always like this. They fight, throw tantrums, wake up with nightmares. I know, but it's still nice. Sarah studied him. You really mean it? About all of this? Yes. Even though it costs you your empire. Piece by piece. Yes. Why? He turned to face her fully. Because I spent 5 years with everything I thought I wanted. Power, respect, control. And I was empty. Completely empty. And then I saw you. Saw them. And I realized. He stopped. Realized what? That I'd been dead. Just going through motions. Pretending I was alive. But I wasn't. Not really. And now I feel everything. Fear, hope, regret, love. It's overwhelming. But it's real. Sarah's eyes were wet. I don't know if I can trust you. I know. I don't know if I can let myself love you again. I know that too. But you're here anyway. For them. Yes. She paused. And maybe a little for you. That's enough. Is it? For now. They talked until midnight. About everything. The 5 years apart. His father's death. Her pregnancy. The twins' birth. How she'd almost contacted him 100 times. How he'd thought about her every day. How they'd both survived by pretending the other didn't exist. I named them after you, Sarah said quietly. Min-jae, Tae-jae. Traditional Korean names. Because even though I was angry, I wanted them to have that connection. To your culture, your family. Even if you weren't there. That's... His voice broke. Thank you. She shrugged. They deserved to know where they came from, even if their father was absent. He reached for her hand. She let him take it. "I'm not asking you to forgive me," he said, "or to forget. I'm just asking for a chance, to be their father, to be—" He hesitated. "To be in your life again. In what capacity? I don't know. Whatever you'll allow." She pulled her hand back. "I need time. To trust this. To believe you won't disappear when things get hard. Take all the time you need. And your world, your empire, the danger, I'm handling it. How? By stepping back, delegating, building distance between them and that life. That's not enough, I know. So what's the plan?" He exhaled. "I'm legitimizing." "What?" "My businesses. Going legal. It'll take time. Years, maybe. But I'm transitioning everything. Cutting ties with—" He paused. "With the parts that are dangerous. You can't just leave the Mafia. I'm not leaving. I'm evolving. There's a difference. Your rivals will test you. They already are. And I'm handling it. Without you. With very good people I trust." Sarah studied him. "This could destroy everything your father built." "Yes. And you're okay with that?" He met her eyes. "My father built an empire on blood. I'd rather build a family on love. Even if it's messier. Even if it's harder." She was quiet for a long time. Then she stood. "It's late. You should go." "Okay. But Jae-won—" He turned at the door. She stepped close, kissed his cheek. Soft. Brief. "Thank you. For tonight. For showing up. For trying." Then she closed the door. He stood in the hallway, his hand on his cheek where she'd kissed him. For the first time in 5 years, he felt alive. The next 3 weeks fell into rhythm. He showed up. Every day. Sometimes at the park, sometimes at their apartment, once to the aquarium for that field trip. He met their friends, their teachers, became a fixture in their life. The boys stopped asking if he was leaving, started assuming he'd be there. Called him Dad without hesitation. Sarah watched, always watched, but her guard lowered, incrementally. He brought dinner, helped with homework, read bedtime stories, learned their routines, their preferences. Min-jae liked the blue cup. Tae-jae needed his stuffed dinosaur to sleep. Both hated broccoli but would eat it for dessert. Small things, everything. His empire suffered. He lost territory, respect, power. His second called daily with concerns. "Boss, the organization is fracturing." "I know. We need you back. I am back. Just not there. This isn't sustainable." "Then make it sustainable. I've given you authority. Use it. You're walking away. I'm walking towards something better." 3 weeks in, Sarah invited him to stay after the boys went to bed. They sat on the couch, wine between them. "You've been good," she said, "showing up, being present." "I meant it. I see that." She turned to face him. "But I need to know something. Anything. What happens when this gets hard? When the boys are teenagers and hate you? When your past comes back? When being a father isn't Instagram moments and bedtime stories, but real, messy, difficult parenting? I'll still be here. You say that. I mean it. How do I know? You don't. You have to trust me. That's asking a lot." "I know." Sarah set down her wine. "I've been thinking about us. And I don't know if we can go back to what we were. I'm not asking you to. We're different people now. Yes, you have responsibilities. I have the boys. Your life is complicated. So is mine. But—" She looked at him. "I think maybe we could build something new. Something that fits who we are now. I'd like that. It won't be easy. Nothing worth having is. And I have rules." "Okay. The boys come first. Always. Agreed. No secrets. About your business, your past. Anything that could affect them. Done. And—" She hesitated. "We go slow. However slow you need. I'm not ready to jump back into a relationship. I might never be ready. I'll wait." "For how long?" "As long as it takes." He moved. Closer. "Sarah, I'm not here because I want what we had. I'm here because I want what we could have. A real family. Real love. The kind that survives hard things. Not the kind that runs when things get complicated. She searched his face. You really believe that? I have to. Because if I don't, if I can't believe we deserve a second chance, then what was the point of any of it? The pain, the loss, the 5 years. There has to be a reason. Maybe there isn't. Maybe we just made mistakes and we're trying to fix them. That's enough. Is it? For me it is. She leaned her head on his shoulder. Just for a moment. They sat like that, quiet, connected. Then her phone rang. She checked it, frowned. It's the school. At this hour? She answered. Put it on speaker. Mrs. Chen? Yes. This is Principal Kim. We had an incident today. What kind of incident? Some men were asking about your sons, taking photos. Security escorted them off campus, but I thought you should know. Sarah went pale. What kind of men? The guard said they looked professional. We've filed a police report, but wanted you to be aware. Thank you. I'll be there tomorrow to discuss security protocols. Of course, we take our students' safety very seriously. She hung up, stared at the phone. This is your world, she said, her voice shaking. This is what I was afraid of. Sarah, don't. She stood, pacing. I knew this would happen. I knew the second you acknowledged them, they'd become targets. I'll handle it. How? By throwing money at it? Hiring security? That's not a life. That's a prison. I won't let anyone hurt them. You can't promise that. In your world, people get hurt. They die. And I won't. She stopped, her voice breaking. I won't let my sons grow up afraid. Or worse, grow up without you because someone decided hurting them would hurt you. He stood, went to her. She tried to pull away, but he held firm. Look at me. No. Sarah, look at me. She did, tears streaming. I will burn down my entire empire before I let anyone touch. Them, he said. Every connection, every alliance, every piece of power I have. I will destroy all of it to keep them safe. That's not sustainable. Then I'll find another way. But they are my priority. You are my priority. Not the organization, not the territory. You. And I will prove that every single day for the rest of my life, if that's what it takes. How? By making it so I'm not a threat anymore. By legitimizing so completely that there's no reason to target them. By walking away from everything that makes me dangerous. You said that would take years. Then I'll do it faster. People will die. Then they'll die. She stared at him. You'd really do that? Without hesitation. For them? Yes. For me? Yes. Why? Because love? He touched her face gently. Because I've lived without it, and I'd rather die than go back to that. She kissed him. Sudden, desperate. 5 years of anger and longing and fear poured into it. He kissed her back, just as desperate, tasting salt from her tears. When they broke apart, she was shaking. I'm so scared. Me too. What do? We protect them. Together. How? He pulled out his phone, made a call. It's me. I need a full security detail. Discreet. For a woman and 2 children. Around the clock. Background checks on everyone at their school. And I need a meeting with every family head in Seoul. Tomorrow. Boss, that's... Tomorrow. Everyone. Tell them it's not a request. He hung up. Sarah stared. What are you doing? Making it clear that my sons are off limits, that anyone who even looks at them wrong will face consequences. That's starting a war. Then there's a war. For them? Yes. For all of you. Always. She kissed him again. Softer this time. Thank you. Don't thank me yet. This is going to get ugly. I don't care. As long as they're safe. They will be. I promise. He stayed that night. Not in her bed. On the couch. Close enough to protect them if needed. Far enough to respect her boundaries. But when he woke at 3 a.m., she was there. Sitting in the chair. Watching him. Couldn't sleep, she said. Me either. Scared. Terrified. Of what? That this is too good. That I'll wake up and you'll be gone again. I'm not going anywhere. I want to believe that. Then believe it. She moved to the couch, curled against him. He wrapped his arms around her. They stayed like that until dawn. The meeting happened in a neutral location. Every major family head in Seoul, Jae-won's rivals, his allies, everyone who mattered in the underground. He entered alone. No guards, no weapons. A show of either confidence or stupidity. His second thought, it was suicide. Jae-won thought it was necessary. The room fell silent when he walked in. He took his place at the head of the table, looked at each man in turn. Thank you for coming. The head of the Choi family, his biggest rival, spoke. This better be worth our time. It is. He placed 2 photos on the table. The boys, Min-jae and Tae-jae. These are my sons. Murmurs around the table. I'm acknowledging them, publicly, making them part of my family, which makes them targets, someone said. Yes, which is why I'm here. He looked around the room. Anyone who touches them, anyone who threatens them, anyone who even considers using them to get to me, I will destroy. Not just them, their entire family, their allies, their legacy. I will salt the earth so thoroughly that their name becomes a warning. That's a bold claim, the Choi head said, for 2 bastards. Jae-won moved, fast, had the man by the throat before anyone could react. They're my sons, he said quietly. Dangerous, and if you ever refer to them that way again, I'll kill you. Right here, right now. Consequences be damned. Security moved. Jae-won released him, stepped back. The Choi head rubbed his throat. Message received. Good. He addressed the room again. I'm transitioning my operations. Going legitimate. It'll take time, but it's happening. And until it's done, I need your word, your oath, that my family is off limits. And if we refuse, then we're enemies. And I'll treat you accordingly. You're willing to start a war over 2 children? Over my children. Yes. Silence. Then the oldest head at the table spoke. Kim's father. An old-school boss who'd known Jae-won since childhood. Your father would be ashamed. Jae-won met his eyes. My father is dead, and his way died with him. I'm building something different. By walking away, by choosing differently. The old man studied him, then nodded slowly. You have my word. Your family is safe from mine. One by one the others agreed, some reluctant, some respectful, but all binding. The Choi head was last. He smiled, cold. You've made a lot of enemies today. I know, but your sons will be safe from me. Thank you. Of course. He leaned forward. After all, why would I hurt them when watching you destroy yourself is so much more entertaining? Jae-won didn't react, just gathered the photos, left. Outside, his second was waiting. That was risky, necessary. They could have killed you. Then, I'd die knowing I tried. You really love them. Yes, all 3 of them. The second smiled slightly. Your father would hate this. Good. He drove back to Sarah's apartment. She opened the door before he knocked, the boys still sleeping. Well, it's done. They agreed. Yes. All of them? Yes. She exhaled, relief washing over her, then kissed him, hard, grateful. When she pulled back, she was crying. Thank you. Always. She pulled him inside. They sat on the couch, close, connected. What now? She asked. Now we live. Just like that. Just like that. What about your empire? It's handled. The transition started. It'll take time. Years, maybe. But I've set it in motion. And us? He looked at her. What about us? What are we doing? Learning each other again. Building something new. That's vague. He smiled. I know. But it's honest. I don't know what we are. I just know I want to find out. She rested her head on his shoulder. Me too. They stayed like that until the boys woke. Tae-jae ran out first. Saw Jae-won. Jumped into his lap. You stayed. I stayed. Forever? If your mom lets me. He looked at Sarah. She smiled. Through tears. We'll see. But probably. The boys cheered. Min-jae climbed up too. They sat there, all 4 of them, A family, messy and complicated and absolutely perfect. Jae-won's phone buzzed. Business, crisis, emergency. He ignored it. This was more important. Everything else could wait. Because for the first time in 5 years, he wasn't just surviving. He was living, and he was home. If you've made it this far, thank you for watching. Please subscribe to see what happens next in their story. Drop a comment telling me your favorite moment, and hit that like button. It helps us create more content like this. This is just the beginning for Jae-won, Sarah, and the twins. More stories coming soon.